Have you ever had a food as a kid that you just hated, and now as an adult you like it and you can't even believe it? That's how I feel about cottage cheese. My mom, when I was a kid, she would want me to eat it, and I couldn't stand it. It was the worst. I didn't like the taste, I didn't like the texture, and I would avoid it at all costs. It turns out there is a way to make cottage cheese taste good. All you need is an envelope of onion soup mix, a container of cottage cheese, and something to blend them with. I feel silly even calling this a recipe because it's so simple. It's just these two ingredients together. But once you blend them, you'll have a delicious spread to use in a variety of different ways. You're going to need a bowl, and you need to combine both these ingredients in a bowl. Don't put them in the container like I'm doing here. It's a problem. It was a mess. I did it that way last time, and it worked because I had half a container of cottage cheese. But when it's full, it's too messy. So just get a bowl. I have a hard time learning that. Whenever in doubt, get a bigger bowl. Trust me, it's just better. So once I regrouped and got it all into the bowl, I had to use the immersion blender to start blending up the cottage cheese. At some point in my 20s, my mom threw a party and she made a veggie platter that had a dip with it, and I tried it, and it was delicious. After the party, I asked mom, how did she make that dip? What was in it? And she said it was made of cottage cheese and soup mix. I couldn't believe that mom made cottage cheese taste good. The texture of this cheese spread is up to you. You can blend it for a little bit and it will be creamy, and you'll still taste some of the cheese curds if you do it that way. Or you can blend it for a long time, put it in a food processor where it will become very velvety and very smooth. One of the things that I like about this spread is it's full of protein and it has a lot of flavor. So in this case, I have a piece of nice crusty bread that I toasted. I took some of the cheese spread and I put it on the bread after I toasted it. And then I'm going to take a hard boiled egg. I always have a few of these in the fridge, and I'm going to slice it up and put it on the toast. I consider this like a make ahead breakfast because I already had all of these things ready in the fridge and it's so easy to put together. I keep some bread in the freezer ready to go, hard boiled eggs in the fridge, and I make one of those containers with the cottage cheese. I put it in there as well. I'm just adding some everything but the bagel seasoning and some hot sauce, and it's a great filling and yummy breakfast to have. I no longer consider myself a cottage cheese hater. I just consider myself a cottage cheese liker sometimes in certain circumstances. I wonder if there's other ways to use it. If you know of any, let me know. Also, does this have another name in other countries? Because I only know it by cottage cheese. I'm curious how other people around the world use cottage cheese. Here, I've mostly seen it just eaten plain, eaten with fruit, or baked with eggs to give it extra protein. But I'd love more ideas. This way, I just used it as the dip for these carrots and cucumber sticks, just like the first time I had it. Another way I've been using it is kind of in lieu of a dressing. So here I had some charred broccoli, some beans, some olives. I put that on top. I used chicken salt, which is not chicken, but it is salty. It's a vegan spice, and it was really good. So I kind of call that like a winter salad, so it's not a lettucey salad. Lastly are the 6 questions I ask myself about everything I make. First one is, does it taste good? Yeah, it tastes really good. That's coming from somebody who doesn't like cottage cheese. Next question was, is it easy? Yeah, it's easy. There's no complicated process or unusual ingredients, at least not here where I live. Next question is it quick? Yes, it's very quick. Just put it in the blender or a food processor. The next question is, can you freeze it? And I would say probably not. If you froze it, I think it would change the texture. I didn't try it. If you try it, I'd love to know, but I would say no on the freezing. The next question is, can you make it in bulk? And yes, you definitely can. The last question I asked myself is, how much did it cost? So I paid $3.60 for the cottage cheese, and 60 cents for the soup mix. So together it was a little over $4 for 3 cups of the cheese spread. You don't use a ton of it because it's very flavorful. So I think it's a great price for having this healthy, protein, delicious cheese spread in your refrigerator. If you try this, I'd love to know what you think. Enjoy!